Recently, I have enrolled in a yoga teacher training course, and in doing so, I did a lot of research on what's out there, accreditation, how programs work, the hidden costs, and so I'm going to share what I've learned with you today so you can make the most informed decision when choosing your own yoga teacher training program. So we're going to start off with what is probably the number one question. What is your goal? What's the end game? Why do you want to do a yoga teacher training? Maybe you're just trying to further your spirituality versus whether you're trying to become a teacher. If you're going to become a teacher, do you want to work for somebody else or do you want to create your own business? Do you want to run your own studio? Now, based on your answer, you're going to want to look at certification. So there's something called the Yoga Alliance. The Yoga Alliance is out of the US and it's a non-profit membership trade and professional organization for yoga teachers. So basically it is a completely voluntary credentialing system. You go and you do yoga teacher training, you get your certificate, and then you pay the Yoga Alliance to be recognized for the training you did. Now, as a part of this, schools are either accredited by the Yoga Alliance or they are not. So if you want to teach professionally, you probably want to go with some kind of a teacher training that has the Yoga Alliance seal of approval. Now, not every yoga studio will restrict their hiring based on the Yoga Alliance, but a lot of them do. So highly recommend that you get your certificate if you're trying to at all become a yoga teacher in a professional way. So the great thing about Yoga Alliance is they have this database where you can check the ratings. I found this actually incredibly useful when I was looking at schools because not only does the school have a rating, you can also find ratings on the individual teachers. Now, if what you want to do is become a yoga teacher who teaches in person, you'll really want to consider whether or not the teacher training you do is in person or online. So because of the pandemic, starting in 2020, the Yoga Alliance started approving 100% online courses. And you can take a course, you'll still get your certificate, even though you've done no in-person training. And this is temporary, by the way. They've extended the date a few times, so to be decided if online yoga teacher trainings will forever be improved, but right now they are. So it's something to consider because if you are in a room with another human being, you're going to get hands-on adjustments and learn things in a 3D sense that you might not get online from just watching a video of how to adjust people when they are doing yoga. Now, whether you decide on in-person or online, I encourage you to find somebody who's taken this program before but does not work for the school. LinkedIn can be really helpful here. You want to find somebody who's gone to this school, taken the program, so you can get a more honest and unbiased opinion of how this program went. Another consideration is something I would call the woo-woo factor. So if you're trying to become a professional, teach yoga in a professional way, or run a business, you'll see that courses range from business-focused to more spiritual focused, and know that you're going to get different results at each. So personally, I went with one that I would call very woo. I'm very interested in spiritual experiences, understanding Kundalini and enlightenment, and in doing this, I found that it gets pretty out there. So far, there's been some mentions of things like conceiving a child on the wrong date can lead to them becoming a terrorist. And things like injuring fingers in a certain way can take away somebody's capacity to commit crime. So really have a think about if you're willing to tolerate more of the woo or if you're really driven on the business focused. Because I found few that have heavy business and heavy woo focus. You usually want to choose one or the other. And then cost. Sometimes yoga teacher trainings will give you the cost, and that is the cost. That is all you will pay. But oftentimes they have additional fees. And so those additional fees can be books. Books usually cost extra, I found, especially with any yoga teacher trainings based in the United States. Also, it seems to be a mixed bag between whether or not the yoga teacher training cost includes the cost of your certificate from the Yoga Alliance. For some places, you pay for your certificate through the school, and other places you have to go and get the certificate yourself. So definitely factor this into your research and your budget. Okay, and then style. What do you actually enjoy? There are many different types of yoga. There's Hatha, Ashtanga, Iyengar, Vinyasa, Kundalini, Yin Yoga, Prenatal Yoga, Restorative Yoga, and some programs will incorporate multiple styles of yoga in your training. So I really encourage you to choose something that you actually enjoy. And if you don't know, hey, YouTube's here, you should check them out. You should see what you're most interested in. Because on your worst day, especially if you become a teacher, you're still going to be in this style of yoga. So best to find something that really resonates with you. And so speaking of types of yoga, my first yoga experience many years ago was with Bikram yoga, which is hot yoga and a prescribed series of movements. Now, if I had gotten into this journey a little earlier in my life, I probably would have gone to school for Bikram yoga. And that really raises the question, what is your tolerance for scandal? Turns out the guy that created Bikram yoga sexually assaulted and abused a lot of women and then fled the country. So not great. Actually, a lot of Bikram studios have now rebranded themselves as hot yoga just to get away from the name of this guy. And then there's also Kundalini yoga. So for American Kundalini yoga, also a bust. Yogi Bhajan in recent years came out with a lot of scandal, and the Kundalini yoga community seems to be figuring out where they stand. It just kind of felt like a mess and not something I wanted to do. So I ended up choosing a program that was Hatha yoga and Kundalini yoga based out of India. And then my first day of class, my teacher talked about his teacher. He learned from Swami Rama, who turns out was also not a good dude. When you Google this guy, the first thing that comes up is his egregious sexual assault for more than 20 years. So think about your tolerance for scandal when choosing a yoga school, because abuse of power seems pretty pervasive. Another thing to check out, free trial. Get in on any free trial you can to answer the fundamental question, can you learn from this person? The last thing you want to do is end up in some kind of a situation where you're learning from somebody who doesn't speak your language and isn't going to get across things in the way you want to learn them. And last one, this is my best tip, try customer service. When I narrowed down the list of schools I was interested in to like a top 5, I went through and I found a reason to contact customer service in each case. Customer service will tell you a lot about what will happen when things go wrong or when you have a question. This is especially important for any online schools you're thinking of attending where there's no human physically there to answer your questions. I found this very telling because some schools got back to you right away. Some schools don't get back to you at all, and other schools respond with something just confusing and irrelevant. So I encourage you to find any way you can of contacting customer service. Thanks for watching. If you liked today's video, smash that like button, hit subscribe, or feel free to leave me a comment with ideas for future videos I should make. See you next time.